Okay guys, I'm Sean, and today I've been doing blaster reviews on all these small pistol-sized blasters. I've done a pretty bad job of reviewing them, but I'm sure they'll do just fine as reviews for you guys. So, I've done reviews so far of the Sharp Shot and the Scout, and talked about how to get them to fire streamlines, things like that. Just kind of what I do in reviews for those blasters. I'm going to go ahead and finish off today by doing a review of the Nite Finder, which is a very, very iconic blaster, and which makes me think, why should I do a review of a blaster that almost everybody knows about and everybody understands the internals of? I figured just because I'm doing reviews of every blaster I have, I might as well throw this in there. Now, just a quick size comparison between this and the Sharp Shot. As you can see, they're relatively the same size. That way, the Sharp Shot is a lot thicker than most, although with this plastic bit that changes the sight of the red bit, it's actually relatively the same width, but it still feels a lot clunkier. The main difference between this and a Scout is the light, the priming system, and the all-famous Direct Plunger. Woo! Yes, this is in fact a Direct Plunger blaster because it's so old. Nerf was still using that back then. Of course, they're bringing it back in the Elite line, but it's nice to know that they were still using direct plungers in this blaster. Now, this is a rear load-on tactical rail, which is located on the top here. It's also got this sight, but ever since they attached the tactical rail, it is literally impossible to use this sight because the tactical rail is so high. That's from back in the old days when they didn't have the tactical rail on the top, and since now they do, they never changed that in the mold, I guess, so you're left with that. You've got the Nerf logo here, and I do not believe there's an N-Strike logo on here, but that's because this is such an old blaster. This fires stock, any Whistler, Tagger darts, etc., all of those fancy tip darts. You cannot fire streamlines unless you go ahead and take a small pair of needle nose pliers, go in there, and just take out that small rod that you see in the middle. You should twist and pull and end up with one of these, and once you take that out, you should be able to fire streamlines just fine. Not a whole lot I wanted to go over on this because it's such an iconic blaster. Like I said, I'm sure everybody knows about it already. This is a relatively comfortable blaster. I find the Sharp Shot and the Scout to be a little, just a little better molded to my hands as compared to the Nite Finder. Of course, the performance outdoes both of those blasters because of its direct plunger system. The direct plunger in the blaster will give you anywhere from 30 to 40 feet stock, and that's at relatively level shots. If you're shooting angles, you might be able to reach 50 feet, and that's basically just if you're lucky. You can go ahead and take the air restrictor out. You should get it right around 50 feet solid, not flat, but just easily, and then you should be reaching 60-70 feet with normal spring mods and everything like that. If you go on eBay, they have kits for these to just amp up the power. And if you really want to go for it, you can go ahead and rebarrel this with CPVC and stuff like that. You can just watch videos on how to do that. I'm not going to tell you in this because it's just a review of the blaster. But you can get anywhere up to, I've heard claims of 120 feet with a Nerf Nite Finder because it's a singled barrel. Now, the priming system is in the back here, and it's basically a ring-styled system where you pull back and then you fire the blaster. When you pull the trigger about halfway, this red light comes on, and it is a laser to show you where the dart is going to go. Now, you have to sight that in, and to do that you use these little clear pieces on the side to move it up, down, and then to either side. You just kind of have to find it on your own, and when I hang it personally in my arsenal, it tends to rub against the wall there and just go out of whack, so it's best to sight with just looking down the tactical rail or throwing something on there. Preferably a pinpoint sight because those work the best. So I'm done rambling about this Nite Finder. If you want one of these, go ahead and stop by Walmart or any other place because it's so easy to find, and it's such an iconic blaster that anybody could show you how to use one of these and mod one of these. I forgot to mention the dual dart storage on the bottom, but I'm sure that was very obvious. And other than that, I think I'm pretty much done with the Nerf Nite Finder, so until next time, stay Nerf.